Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Tone's Market Analysis for, let's say, Saturday, August 12th. I know I did a video 2 days ago, and I specifically delayed one to be right in front of my August 11th date. And since I'll be traveling tomorrow to go to Canada to speak at this Bitcoin/Ethereum event, it's going to be interesting, more like Bitcoin versus Ethereum event. I really wanted to get this video out today because I will not be around tomorrow. Let me make sure that we have live viewers, and we do. We're at 100 live viewers. Thank you guys very much for watching, for your support, for your donations. I'm going to have a speed round of traditional markets, and then we're going to move on to Bitcoin, which was hitting all-time highs today. And it's interesting. Okay, so if you take a look at the traditional market, I talked about it on Thursday, so I'm not going to spend much time on it. This was a horrible day, but this was an event-driven day. This is not how tops are made. And you can see that on Friday, there was a doji. This is a traditional reversal candle. It did not go lower than the previous candle. Therefore, no bearish trade, according to at least this numerical indicator. No bearish trade has been initiated based on that numerical indicator. Okay, there was a bearish trade coming out of this box, but for those that are now trading this numerical indicator, you are there's no short position yet. We'll see what happens on Monday. Okay, so I'm gonna head and actually, let me see if I can make this on the big screen here. Okay, perfect. Let's go with this. Here's the weekly chart. Again, if there is a more serious pullback, I am looking for the price to go to around 2,400 and the S&P 500, and then I'm expecting a big rise to the upside. I remain a bull of the U.S. stock markets. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Where are we here? Okay, let's make this big. Okay, so here is gold. Again, gold continues to go up, and as you can see, its momentum slightly stopped at the triple top. At this point, I'm not really expecting the triple top to hold it for long. Let's see if we can get to a 9 count on the daily numerical indicator and take it from there. Again, I have been very hesitant in trading gold, and I'm not really touching gold at the moment. Let's see how it goes from here. Okay. I'm not sure why it's doing that, but you know what? Let me. Oh, never mind. Okay. Anyway, well, guess I'll stick to this. Here's the weekly gold, and it's the same thing. You have this triple top. I don't know. I'm not touching gold right now. Well, I'm going to give it another week and see what's up. According to the numerical indicator, there was a trade right here on the 2 or the 3. You could have picked up gold, had a little bit of a run, but I don't know. I'll think more about it before the next video. Okay. Next, oil. Again, we hit the top of this downward trending channel. I'm expecting oil to pull back down. Everything so far so good. I know it's now conflicting with the numerical indicator, so it depends on how you're trading. We're slightly above the 50-week moving average. I don't really expect it to hold all that much, and so I am expecting for oil to pull back a little bit further. All right, so let's see how that goes. Okay, let me close some of these things. Okay, so the euro I did want to talk about a little bit. Okay, where's the euro? Here it is. Got my stuff out of water here a little. Euro and euro. Let me spend like 3 minutes on the euro, and then let me spend like 3 minutes on the euro. Sorry about the background noise, guys. Here's the daily chart of the euro, but let's go with the weekly. Okay, so the weekly is where I decided to put in a trade on the last time, and I was looking for the trade to start next week because next week I'm expecting a 9. We also have the 7 candle that was a reversal candle. So let's see if the height of the 9 can go above the 7, which I don't think it will. At this point, I really have my support and resistance. Okay, I can actually adjust this. I now have much better data. I know what the height of the 7 candle was, and that was 1.191, okay? I also know what the close of the last candle was, right? And that was 1.182. So what I'm going to do at this point, right, I know where to enter my trade. I like to enter limit orders. So something around 8.5, okay? That's where I'm looking to enter, all right? Where is my stop price? Well, my stop price is going to be either above candle number 8 or above candle number 7. Let's be a little conservative, and we'll go 191, okay? So the moment it goes above that, okay? So now my risk is very, very limited. What's my reward? Well, my reward is perhaps the 50 week moving average, okay? But that's a little hefty. So for now, let's keep it simple and let's make it one of these, okay? So that's pretty much my current risk reward, okay? If I want to zoom in on this trade, and I can adjust it, okay? So next week, if the price goes up into 1.85, I'll probably trade it, and I kind of do these trades on one broker where I can just throw $100 in Bitcoin and not have to worry about it, okay? Just to double check with the daily chart, I have another high right here. We had a 9. We had a 9 recently, okay? So this 9 would have told me to be cautious. And then the count broke. And then right here on the 3, there was actually a short trade that I missed because I wasn't looking at the daily chart. This count has broken again. So anything can really happen. But I think this is a nice risk-reward trade that I'm probably going to explore, okay? So that's pretty much the euro. Let me close the euro. So this was basically a speed round of this was my speed round for the traditional markets, okay? Before we move on to Bitcoin, I usually talk about my travel schedule. Maybe I'll briefly mention the travel schedule. This is the Bitcoin and Ethereum Summit. I'll be speaking there on Monday. I fly to Canada tomorrow. From there, I'm flying straight to Russia, where I'll be speaking at this event. And you'll see my picture down here somewhere, and there I am, okay? And then from there, I will be coming back to New York to speak at World FinTech Week, and I'm around here somewhere as well, okay? So let me home. Okay, so I'll be speaking at this event probably August 22nd, I believe, so please check the schedule, all right? And after that, I'll be home and then go into a European tour. All right, guys, I'm gonna flip the camera on. I got, let me see how we're doing here. We got 380 viewers. Awesome, guys. Again, thank you for your donations. Thank you for your support. And I'm going to turn on the camera. It's going on right now. And we're going to have a special thank you because my live audience actually came through. And I want you guys to meet Zay. And she has something to say for you guys.
Okay, so hi guys. Again, my name is Zay, and just reaching out to all of Tone's followers, and I'm very appreciative for you guys looking out and finding and getting this painting for me, specifically Jean and Tim. Thank you so much. I found this painting in mapped it, and I tried to find it, get it. And you guys made that happen. And again, I can't, words can't describe how thankful I am. And I know exactly where I'm going to hang it. And thankful for the painting. But I'm thankful for all of you followers for being so loyal. Tone works real hard to put his content out there. And this really definitely made his day just as well as mine. And again, I mean, it means so much more to me just because you guys did that, found it, got it, and it's here. So thank you again. Jean, Tim, really, thank you so much.
Hi, guys. Thanks. Oh, where's my microphone now?
There it is.
All right, guys, we're going to go back to Bitcoin, and then I believe Rich is around to help me put questions together. And then we'll go ahead and take your Q&A right after I talk about Bitcoin. Awesome painting there in the background. All right. It's been traveling. It's been traveling with us from New York to the woods. All right, let's go back to screen share. I know. Say goodbye to Z. Say goodbye to Z for now.
Bye, guys.
When the camera comes back on, we will see if she's still sitting there. Hopefully she is, and I can get to a few of your questions. Let's quickly get let's quickly get to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's important right now. Okay. Okay, so here's Bitcoin. Here's the weekly chart of Bitcoin. I've been messing around with my charts all day a little bit. And is this the weekly chart of Bitcoin? This might be the monthly chart of Bitcoin, guys. Let's stick with the monthly chart. That's fine. The monthly chart of Bitcoin looks beautiful. The monthly chart of Bitcoin is on a 6. This 6 is going to definitely be here tomorrow. I'm not expecting a catastrophic fall in Bitcoin. This will be a 6. So that means I am looking at 3 more months of upside. Right? The weekly chart is telling us there'll be 5 more weeks of gains. The monthly chart is telling us there'll be 3 more months of upside. And as you can see, the monthly chart told this indicator told me at least to buy Bitcoin. Of course, I wasn't looking at this indicator, so I didn't actually run out and buy it at around 254. And it did give you a couple of months where you can take your profit, but at no point did it ever tell you to sell your whole bullish position. At no point. So this is why all of these numbers are green, okay? So the monthly looks beautiful. We're good to go, okay? Here's the weekly. Here's the one I've been talking about for a while. We're on our way to meeting this green trend line, which would be unbelievable. It's sitting there at above $10,000. And if we wait, 5, 6, 7 more weeks, it could be sitting there at $13,000. So who the hell really knows, okay? The weekly chart also is showing absolutely no weakness. We're on a 4. I always assume we're going to get to a 9, and then we'll know what to do, okay? And therefore, weekly chart is telling you to hold the Bitcoin. There's also a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. So this can go all the way to 13, and these don't even have to be consecutive. As you can see, there was a big gap between 1 and 2. So there could be a big gap, and then we can still get to a 13, okay? So weekly remains bullish. The daily is where things get really, really, really interesting, okay? So again, I'm just going to zoom in. I don't care about the momentum indicators, okay? So yesterday was a 9. The 9 is fairly complex, and there are many things that are going on there with the 9, okay? It tells you to be cautious. It tells you to take some profit from your bullish trade. It also tells you there's a potential bearish trade on the table, and whether that trade is a short-term bearish trade, short trade, or a long-term short trade. I mean, if it's a short-term short trade, you have time to reevaluate to know if it's a long-term short trade. It can also be a complete continuation further. Because yesterday's candle closed at the top of the candle, I was bullish going into today. Right now, you're 50-50, okay? If this candle closes as a shooting star, if the price of Bitcoin is below 3,800 by the end of the day today, we have about 2 hours to go. That would be a bit of a bearish sign, okay? What I was trying to avoid with today's candle, what you have to be careful of, is this, okay? Now, I don't believe that the price of Bitcoin is going to crash in the next 2 hours. So it's not going to look like this, but it's still going to look like a reversal candle. A reversal candle after a 9 is not what you want to see, because it can lead to a slightly bigger pullback before the price most likely reverses, okay? So we still have 2 hours. Those that have been following me carefully should have taken some profit the moment the price crashed $100 from the all-time high today. The all-time high on Bitfinex today was 3,970. So the moment the price crashed from 3,970 down to below 3,900, if you could have caught it, that would have been your great exit. That would have been like a nice big drop. But it went all the way back there after that. So we're still, anything can happen. The price is moving 25, 50 bucks at a time. So in 30 minutes, this price could be different than it is now. A lot of action going on right now. It's really, really crazy, okay? There are other things that are going on here, okay? This is the Bitstamp chart. Sorry, this is the Bitfinex chart. And it's coming off of a 9. And the 9 is very critical. The situation changes because Bitcoin isn't one price fits all. And if I do and if I do it for Bitstamp, as you can see on Bitstamp, it's not a 9. On Bitstamp, it's an 8, okay? And an 8 means there is a 9 coming. So this is where you kind of have to use your judgment, and you're kind of stuck in between two charts. And those of you that aren't very familiar with this indicator, this is what I explain it. You can Google for it. I call it the numerical indicator due to trademarks. This is the kind of stuff I do for my private clients and the tone-based consulting service, which is 0.1 Bitcoins per hour. Okay, so that's pretty much it on Bitcoin. I don't want to get into the hourly chart. The hourly chart did have a reversal candle right here on the 5. We didn't make it to a 9. There was a reversal candle on the 5, and you had a price flip on the 1, but there was never a short trade. Okay, this is important. Okay, so check this out. There was a 13 right here telling you to be cautious. Okay, the 5 is a straight up shooting star. If you're trading the numerical indicator, yes, there was a price flip giving you a red 1, but the red 2 never went lower than the red 1, and the red 3 is not going lower than the red 2. So there was never a short trade provided by this indicator. The fact that we made it to an 8 here and didn't get a 9 sell indication, we had another chance to get the 9 sell, and we didn't get the 9. Possible that there's another 9 coming on the hourly. So this is actually fairly bullish, unless one of these red starts to go lower than the previous red number. Okay, here's the hourly. There was a 9 buy in the hourly. Oh, sorry, this is the BCH nonsense. I'm not talking about BCH. I'm not talking about Bcash. I'm going to too soon start calling it Ccash. Closing the chart. I had a private client today that wanted to talk about Monero, and the big jump in Bitcoin is causing Monero to fall. All right. It's time to flip the camera back on. Zay will probably say her, and then I'll get to your questions, guys.
Seriously, Tom?
Yes.
Oh, God. Okay.
All right, the camera is on. I'm not going to dox myself by opening up chat. Let's see if Rich has some questions for me. Rich, go ahead, pull the questions together. In the meantime, I'll pull up chat, and I'll see what questions you guys have. I'm up to 575 live viewers. Those of you that missed Zay's thank yous from earlier about our little painting adventure here, feel free to rewind and watch it as many times as you like.
Once again, guys, I just wanted to say thank you to Tim and Jean for making this painting, happen here with me. And again, for being so loyal to Tone as followers. As I said once before, he does work very hard and all night sometimes to put his content out there. And he's pretty good at what he does. So trust him. And as I do too. And again, thanks again, Jim and Tim. Jean and Tim. Excuse me. Yes, Jean and Tim. This painting honestly means so much more after, yeah, definitely means a lot to me.
All right, we'll let Zay go, and I will answer the rest of your questions. And I guess you want to keep the hat? You can keep the hat.
Yeah, for now.
We won. The user activated software won. Right.
Yeah, again, congrats on that, by the way.
She's heard all about it. All right, guys, let's get to your questions. And I got one already. And then I saw another one. Hey, Rich, grab that question about the US dollar. We'll address that also. All right, I got a let's put a barbecue going on here. And so let me see what I can get through. Okay. Question. I know you think Congress will raise the debt ceiling, but if they didn't, what would the implications be for the market short term and long term? The Congress is going to raise the debt ceiling. They always raise the debt ceiling. If the Congress doesn't raise the debt ceiling, the only implications would be inconvenience. Okay, the U.S. government is not going to default on its debt. Okay, the U.S. A default of debt means the government can't pay its obligations. Okay, now a government collects plenty of money, and they can always pay the obligations. Okay, so the tax revenue that the government, last time I checked, the tax revenue that comes in, the tax revenue that comes in is about $2 trillion. Okay, but the debts that the U.S. pays is $3 trillion. So there's this $1 trillion in deficit. But the debt, the financing of the debt, is only probably half a trillion. It's a quarter, maybe it's less than a trillion. It's probably half a trillion that it costs them to finance the debt. So the government collects plenty of tax revenue to pay off the debt, and until the government misses the payment on its debt, it's not a default. So there's no default on government debt. Okay, now they're not going to be able to accommodate us. The last time the government shut down, the biggest annoyance we had was we couldn't get our passports renewed. And I was personally pissed off because government employees didn't go to work for 2 weeks, and then they came back to work and they got paid for the 2 weeks they didn't work. So the taxpayers basically paid 2 weeks of vacation for government employees. Okay, so that's a frustrating annoyance. Okay, so other than that, not much happens. And if the U.S. government did default on its debt, nothing happens. No one is going to come to the U.S. and collect on the missed debt payment. Okay, our military is a bit stronger than for anyone to show up and collect. Okay, so nothing's going to happen. It's just a bunch of hype about nothing. Okay, let's move on. How do high net worth individuals bring crypto profits back to bank accounts without tripping the Patriot Act triggers? Well, you don't trigger I mean, you report it, right? I mean, the whole point is of FATCA and IRS and the Patriot Act is that you can't bring the money back without reporting the money. So as long as you report the money, you're fine. Okay, so just report the money, and then you're okay. But yeah, if you don't report it, then sure. Sorry, guys. If your account got frozen over 5,000, that's a banking issue, right? You gotta if it's a banking issue, then you gotta deal with your bank or find another bank, right? But even if you sell Bitcoin and you get a suitcase of $50,000, you're not in violation if you report the fact that you sold something. You can say you sold a collectible. You don't have to tell them what you sold. The point is that you reported the money that you got, right? You can say you found an old Roman coin in the basement of your house and then you sold it for $100,000, and you're reporting the fact that you got the money, right? So you have to report the cash that you get. You have to pay the taxes on the cash that you get, and then you're not in violation of any of the financial laws. Okay. And the same kind of the other way around. All right. So if your bank shuts you down for 5K, that's a problem between you and the bank, right? That's pretty much it. Hey, does Zay own Bitcoin?
I remember you did send me some.
Yeah, somewhere in one of our phones there is like $10 in Bitcoin, which is probably $50 in Bitcoin with all the rises in the prices of Bitcoin, which is why I no longer give Bitcoin to people that don't really know how to use it. More on that later. All right, next. Do you think the dollar will come back up? Absolutely. Look, 53% of the dollar, or 58% of the dollar index is the euro. Another 13% of the dollar index is the Japanese yen. Unless you think the euro and Japan are in a more confidence politically, they're in a better position geopolitically, they're in a stronger economic position, of course the dollar is going to come back up. Earlier in this video, I talked about, I think it's finally time to short the euro. Once the euro starts to crash, the US dollar will go up so quick. So quick. I mean, the whole dollar index is basically the euro and the Japanese yen. That's it. All right, let's move on. Tone, would you invest your money into Bitcoin? I would if there was a better mechanism to invest the 401k into Bitcoin, right? The only mechanism we have right now to invest your 401k into Bitcoin is Barry Silber's GBTC, which I believe was structured beyond terribly. I've been meaning to do a short video explaining the GBTC pink sheet, and I think it's an atrocity. I think it does so bad for Bitcoin. Now you can put your money in it, but I wanted to put more money in it. I should have. I had like a perfect entry, and I didn't get filled, and I'm an idiot. I could have like quadrupled my 401k. So if you're doing it correctly, you can use GBTC. At this point, I was greatly against the Winklevoss ETF, but now I'm kind of leaning towards it, only because it would give competition to Barry Silbert's bullshit ETF with a real ETF. And personally, I would rather have SEC remove GBTC from the market, because that's just a terrible product in my opinion. And I'll do another video about it soon. All right, we got that. Unless you want to be on live video, you may want to be. I got a lot of people around here. I just gotta warn them who's going to be streamed live over YouTube. Okay, I got you. I mean, she's been on video. She can like move it and show it to you. No, I got it. All right, let's move on. Let's see if I can get through a few more questions. Can you take a look at the Litecoin versus Bitcoin? Oh, guys. Well, let me look at it without turning my camera back on, mostly because I'm lazy. And if I see anything worth talking about, I'll turn screen share on. I'm gonna do this real quick. Let me open up the weekly. Let me open up the daily. So according to that little numerical indicator, the Litecoin weekly is on a short as of 0.015. Okay, so as of 0.015, Litecoin became a short. It is now at 0.0121. So it has moved about 2.5% to the downside. It has moved almost 15% to the downside, which is not ideal. The daily is not looking good either, guys. Sorry, but just like Monero, Litecoin is taking a hit with this massive rise in Bitcoin. If Bitcoin takes a breather, then perhaps they can rebound. But right now, they're not looking all that great. That's all I can kind of say. All right, let's move on here. If I don't have a Forex account, might it be just as effective to buy calls or common stock on DXY instead of shorting the euro? Well, I'm not telling anyone to short the euro. Okay, let's start there. This isn't trading advice. This is an educational channel. Okay. Also, there are ETFs on the euro. I really forgot what they are. So you can look for an ETF on the euro. And yes, you could buy calls on DXY if that's what if you wanted to take advantage of the fall in the euro and the rise of the dollar. You can also look for euro ETF, and you can short the ETF, or you can look for a euro ETF. There should be an inverse euro ETF that goes up when euro goes down and goes down when euro goes up. So you also have those options to your disposal as an equity trader. Okay, let's move on. Is the tech bubble of Silicon Valley about to blow up? Slack to be, I don't think so. I think tech is up. I mean, look, tech is expanding. I mean, I wish tech did more for me than it does. Live streaming video still kind of sucks. Like, look at our Google Hangouts. Multiple people still can't talk at the same time. I mean, tech's got a long ways to go. I don't think we're anywhere near another tech bubble. And bubbles don't repeat. You need a whole new generation of people in order to repeat a bubble. So no, I'm not expecting a tech bubble soon. I'm expecting a complete shit show in the ICO altcoins, but not in the traditional tech. Okay. All right. Next, I got 3 more questions. Everybody has been waiting for you to do an interview with Cliff High this summer. Will it happen? I hope so. I'm sorry, guys. I've been too busy to reach out to Cliff High. I want to do that interview. I need to read his report, and I want to do that interview. When I get back from my travels at the end of August, I will try to reach out to him. We'll try to set it up. Hopefully, he is interested in doing it as well. And yes, I would like to do it. It's just, it has not been that high on my priority list. What's important to me is Bitcoin, and you guys getting, my views on Bitcoin, getting more followers to my channel, because I know Cliff High has a huge following. That's a bit secondary to me. So I have, I wouldn't be interviewing Cliff High for any personal gain. I'm interviewing Cliff High because a lot of my followers want me to interview Cliff High, and I will certainly do that if he's up for it. I should probably have a private conversation with him first, just so that we're on the same page what that interview would be about. But yes, I am interested. It's just unfortunately not that high on my priority list, but I need to move it up the list. Okay, it's probably higher on my list than doing the Ethereum scam part 2, which I also need to get to in the crypto scam podcast. All right, next. How do we get away? I can't repeat that. I don't want to get myself in legal trouble. So how do you get away with a blank evasion? That's not something I want to talk about on a public YouTube video that is live streamed. But good question. Think about that. What I always say is, like, some people say, it's your patriotic duty to pay your taxes. What I always say is it's your patriotic duty to pay the minimum amount of taxes you can legally get away with. Okay, so try to use that motto. Do I know anything about Cliff High's web bot? Does it exist? I honestly don't know, guys. I want to ask him some really tough questions, and we will all find out together. Oh my God, dude! Did you really send me 4 more questions? All right, let me see how fast I can get through these before if someone throws something at me, like if a family member throws something at me, I'll have to cut the video, because then I'm really pissing off everybody around me. All right, let's move on. How do you think Bitcoin will react to a market crash expected by 2020 by Martin Armstrong? Will people liquidate all assets, including Bitcoin, to get as much as USD? Now, I attended Martin Armstrong's recent conference in Hong Kong, and I don't remember him talking about a market crash in 2020. I have not had any time to read his blog, so I don't see why he would be calling for a market crash in 2020. He's waiting, like myself, actually, for the Dow and the S&P to double or triple in price. So if that doesn't happen by 2020, then that timeline would obviously get extended. It really depends how it crashes. If it's a really bad crash and companies go out of business and people are starting to lose their jobs, it'll probably wouldn't be so good for Bitcoin. But if it kind of crashes in a more orderly fashion, like the 2000.com crash, where the Nasdaq was greatly affected, but the S&P not so much. If Bitcoin will probably do well. A lot of it depends on the crash. Like in 2008 crash, gold fell like 30%. Because too many people lost their jobs and nobody could care about gold. And so we'll see how it goes. And you might want to ask me that question again in about a year or 2. Hopefully, I'll still be doing these videos. We'll get to that when the time comes. All right, next. Have alt over BTC charge changed since the BCH hard fork? Probably. Please tell viewers to tweet Elon Musk on how much a Bitcoin logo on a SpaceX rocket will cost. Well, that's up to you guys. I'm not important enough to even share a room with Elon Musk, so I don't know if I'll ever get there. But But yeah, so I'm going to stay away from the Elon Musk thing. But yeah, BCH should greatly affect altcoins because BCH could alter the way all altcoins are done in the future. And BCH also has taken all of the trader volume, and all of the, all these traders need another gambling mechanism. So there's probably a lot less trading. You can only trade so many things at a time. So the more people that are trading BCH, the less people that are trading other alts. So yeah, of course, it had a huge effect. All right, 2 more questions, then we're done, guys. People have been complaining about the lack of moon for Litecoin. Oh, too bad. What's your opinion with Litecoin fall off the top 10? It's very possible. There's not much hype on Litecoin. Litecoin is only useful when Bitcoin is having problems. And at the moment, Bitcoin isn't having any problems. Bcash is about to become Ccash, and then it will be completely irrelevant. Okay, speaking of Ccash, if Ccash wasn't here, do you think Bitcoin would be 5 billion more market cap just now? Okay, so it's not the Ccash itself that's preventing Bitcoin from being having a 5 billion more in its market cap. It's the hard fork, push. It's this push. It's this. It started with Bitcoin XT, and then it was Bitcoin Classic, and then it was the Bitmain blocking SegWit, and then it was the New York agreement, and then it was Bcash. It's not the fact that Bcash was finally executed, or I should start calling it. No, I'm not going to call it Ccash until it goes below 5% of the price of Bitcoin. But it's not the fact that they finally executed a dumb hard fork. It's the fact that they've been trying and they've been scaring the market. And every time you get the scare, it's harder to go back up. And you get the scare, and it's harder to go back up. And you're keeping people on the sidelines until these people eventually, say, screw it, Bitcoin will eventually go up. Okay. So yeah, I think if you remove everything starting with Mike Hearn calling for Bitcoin XT, and you eliminate every one of those attempts to hard fork Bitcoin and to kick out Bitcoin Core and to try to centralize Bitcoin and to give more, to give more importance to the Chinese miners, telling them that they should be controlling it. If you remove all of that since 2015, then yeah, I think the price of Bitcoin could easily be double today if it wasn't for all of those things that have been, suppressing it. So maybe we can thank them. Maybe those people allowed us to accumulate more Bitcoin before it eventually goes there. But I would rather not have a headache in dealing with all that stuff. All right, guys. Hey, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your donations. Thank you for super chats. If there were super chats, I'm sorry, I wasn't watching the live chat. Thank you, Sword, for your NOK 100 donations. I'm not sure what that is in dollars. My best guess, it's about like 40 US. I don't remember the Norwegian krone exchange rate. But thank you. I'll try to scroll through the chat. Thank you, Blue Core, for your donation as well. And here's a few more donations. Here is Inigo with that question. And yeah, so when Rich helps me with the questions, he does prioritize the tip questions to the top. So thank you for those. And again, thank you for your support. And catch me on the World Crypto Network, and look at my travel schedule on my blog. Someone is asking a question about fractional banking from Coinbase. Let's address that another time. I don't want to explore that at the moment. All right, guys. Thank you again, and I'll try to do more of these videos. It's just there's more things that I want to do that I'm capable of doing based on time constraints. All right. Bye-bye, guys.